And we are live.
Good morning, everyone. It's the one, the only Senor Silverback himself, Optimus Primate, aka V the Gorilla Economist, coming to you live with my main man, CJ, the master of the flux capacitor, the producer extraordinaire, where we bring you the news, the views, and all the information important to you. You can check us out on roguemoney.net. You can also check us out on Twitter. Follow us over there at Twitter at the Rogue Money, Rogue Money Facebook, as well as Rogue Money on every single podcasting app known to humanity. With that being also said, guys, you can check us out also on Apple News, and make sure you also take a brief stint over at our sponsors. MyFreedomNow.us, MyFreedomNow.us. Learn how you can get your credit fixed, how you can get out of debt, and if you just need money for whatever pet project you have concocted, whatever dream you have put together in your head, or you're looking to buy some cryptocurrencies, get some stock investments, and you need money to burn, baby. Check out MyFreedomNow.us and learn how you can get up to $600,000 unsecured from a network of 335 lenders. Also, check out mygoldusb.com. Mygoldusb.com. Surf the internet in total anonymity. Escape the deep state surveillance. Works on any computer, PC, or Mac. Uses military 1024-bit encryption. And it also allows you, it's a full-on operating system in a USB, and it allows you also to secure your Bitcoin wallet. mygoldusb.com. Messaging, email, internet, all in one system. mygoldusb.com. With that being said, CJ, what's going on?
Hey, good morning, V. Good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing my very good, my friend. Aloha snack bar to you and hot salami
Aloha snack
bacon.
bar.
Yes, yes, yes. What's going on, Siege? Hey, did you hear this, man? I had my buddy up in the West Coast, who's up at 4 o'clock in the morning for God knows what. I mean, can you imagine that? And he he texted me that Israel has joined Hungary. And this is new news that I just got. Okay, this is hot off the presses, bro. Hot off the presses. We're talking about it right here, right now. And hot off the press, and I don't think no one's covering it as of yet. Israel backs Hungary and says financier George Soros is a threat. Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
and it ties probably directly back to Obama and Obama utilizing Soros. You remember leading up to the election campaign in Israel when a massive amount of money was spent trying to undermine the re-election efforts of Benjamin Netanyahu.
Yep.
Although we don't align with him as far as everything he does, it just goes back to the whole meddling and any they're advocating for the arrest, the complete just getting George Soros off the face of the earth. Then I'm for that.
Yep. Absolutely, man. Israel's ambassador to Hungary issued a statement denouncing it, saying that it evokes sad memories, but also shows hatred and fear. But hours after the ambassador made his comments over the weekend, Israel's foreign ministry issued a clarification that Soros was a legitimate target for criticism. In no way was the statement by the ambassador meant to delegitimize the criticism of George Soros, who continuously undermines Israel's democratically elected governments. This guy Soros, I think my buddy, when he said is correct. I think Soros should start getting his affairs in order because I think this guy's going to be dead in the next few months, Siege. I'm serious. And Siege, when I call out those things like that, they usually happen. Remember what I said about Rothschild? Remember what I said about, I'm sorry, not Rothschild, but about Rockefeller? I said David Rockefeller's probably been dead for months, right? I was the
Right,
first to get
right.
out there and say that, and then they rolled a Rockabooger out, and Rockabooger was had his little his death ceremony, and then and so now I'm saying, and Ziggy's dead. Ziggy. I knew that guy was close to death. I think Soros is a marked man. I think he is, and I think in time, I wouldn't be surprised if this guy conveniently dies of a heart attack in the middle of the night, man. this guy's gonna die soon. I have a sense about it, bro. I really do. Feels weird, man.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you take a look, even here in the United States, his NGOs that have, not only political changes, infiltration, currency manipulation. I mean, this guy is like the root of all evil in terms of a lot of the things the U.S. has done, and again, just guiding U.S. policy. A non-elected person that can have all these non-government organizations, but yet they're directly impacting governments. It doesn't make sense for me.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's a whole new world. It's a whole new world. Oh, getting a little Aladdin over there for you. Anyway, my man, what is the latest? I heard Guccifer 2.0 was not behind the DNC hack, and all the evidence points to what you and I have known and all the listeners have known for a long time, that the source is a very local source, and most probably Seth Rich, bro.
Right. Disobedient Media, who was able to interview this gentleman who was able to take a look at the forensic evidence that's provided, and they really do a great job of breaking it down, because in part you have to remember that a lot of the information in regards to Guccifer 2.0, the Russians, the DNC never turned their servers over to the FBI. They hired their own. He comes in, and James, the Russian analyst, also has a great article on roguemoney.net breaking this same information down. But this company called CrowdStrike, that was hired by the DNC, has even from their CEO to their next in line, very deep ties, to the deep state, to the Clintons, so they pretty much have already probably decided at that point that they were going to, show evidence of Russian hacking the DNC servers. But now there's information pointing that this is not true at all, V.
Yep, it's not true at all, because here's the deal. Okay, let's look at what the metadata, which is the fingerprints left over from this crime. Okay, and what they found out is that the metadata is pointing to the fact that the persona who accessed these files downloaded it had to have physical access to a computer, possibly connected to the internal DNC network. The individual most likely used a USB drive to copy the information. The groundbreaking new analysis irrevocably destroys the quote-unquote Russian hacking narrative and calls the actions of CrowdStrike and the DNC into question. That is huge, man. Okay? That is huge, because again and again, the Russian hacking narrative gets, blown to bits. And if you notice that this has come out, and all of a sudden this whole, again, the fervor, the circle jerking, the orgasmic vitriolic response against Donald Trump Jr. by the mainstream media again, because oh my god, he saw a Russian ambassador, oh my god, and they're like frothing at the mouth like a bunch of rabid lithium swilling weirdos. Okay, like they're like in an orgasmic tizzy of the fact that, oh my god, Donald Trump probably met with a Russian ambassador, and the Russian ambassador is probably sending an email, and the email says how they got dirt on Hillary Clinton. Hello? Hillary Clinton's the dirtiest player in the game. I mean, what do you think? And this is the funniest. Let's look at the psychology. If and so somebody sends an email, hey, we got dirt on Hillary Clinton, but that's all they say, they don't divulge it. Who gives a rat's rear end, number one? Number two, if they did divulge it, what are they going to say? Well, she took money from such and such with the Clinton campaign. Okay, that's something we all know. All right, tell us something we don't know. Tell us something that's not mainstream. It's pop culture at this point, CJ. It's pop culture that that Hillary Clinton is the most crooked candidate in U.S. history. It's pop culture. Nobody trusts her. People trust rat poisoning more than Hillary Clinton. People trust swimming with great white sharks than Hillary Clinton. You get what I'm saying? I mean, I trust the inmates of Folsom Prison more than Hillary Clinton. So this whole thing, this is how dumb the deep state is. This is how dumb the Democrats are. They're still pushing the Russian narrative, and they're still propping up a half-dead, half-baked, half-assed woman named Hillary Clinton, one of the most corrupt criminals in the world, and they're propping her up like she's some victim and that she's as pure as the wind-driven snow. She's the dirtiest player in the game. When they've lost the 2016 election, CJ, what they should have done is scattered from this woman like a bunch of roaches. They should have scattered. But what do? Rather than scattering and abandoning her and all the positions that they were holding on to and reevaluating their strategy and their political trajectory, rather than doing that, what do, CJ? They doubled down. They doubled down. They have gone full libtard. You never go full libtard, CJ.
You never go full yeah, you never do. And to try to understand it, trust me, for our listeners, I'm not sure about you, V, but I'm just so tired of, I mean, how many times do we have to present facts that more than likely there was an insider at the DNC that leaked this information, and this organization that went through the forensicator was, again, exactly what you said. There's some very hard proof there, just some things that cannot be disputed. Number one, the timestamp from this data was a Eastern time zone. So, that could not be modified. You take a look at the data transfer rates. That data transfer rates could not have been achieved, using some type of remote access. These were directly, somebody connected to the server, computer connected to the server, data transfer rates to a USB to easy transfer the data. But for our listeners to understand is that the reason why the counteroffensive has got to keep taking place, it's because the MSM tied to the deep state keeps trying to come out with these narratives, these stories. Perfect example is Donald Trump Jr. with meeting with this Russian bankster. And V, I have to firmly believe that one of the reasons I think that the DNC, that the Democrats keep bringing this Russian narrative over and over is because at this point, V, heading into the 2018 midterm elections, they do not have anything else that they can go and take to the constituents to say, this is what we achieved for you, other than the fact that we've blocked, Donald Trump, and we're so concerned about the voting system. We're really investigating this Russian hack. I think they're trying to take this narrative clear into 20, as crazy as it may sound. I think they're trying to take this completely to the 2018 midterm elections, avoid anything legislatively to get passed, just block it all. And this is the narrative they're going to write out for the next 2 years, V.
Yep. Absolutely, and this is the reason why the 2018 election, the midterm elections, these people will be slaughtered. Every deep stater is going to get voted out of office, okay? I'm telling you right now, man, it's going to be a massive purge. It's coming. It's coming. See, they thought it ended with Trump, right? They thought it ended with Trump, but they did not realize that Trump was just the beginning. It was just the beginning of the much larger paradigm shift. It's the beginning of the much larger frequency change. So all these idiots that are out there, these deep staters that have been blocking, that have been mucking up the wheels of progress, that have been pissing on the wheels of progress, all these guys who take 214 days off, okay? And since the day they hit the first day in DC to the last day when they retire, all they're doing is fundraising. All they're doing is looking out for their own interests and not the interest of the country. These guys are done for. So keep running. I love it. They have been possessed by a madness and a delusion, CJ, and I love it. You cannot ask for better. You cannot, I mean, dude, you got to study like Sun Tzu's Art of War to see what's going on here, okay? This is beautiful. This is beautiful. And I want the enemy, and I want these deep staters to keep doing it. Keep going. Keep going. I love it. Keep doing what you're doing, guys. Keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, it's to their own demise. So you're absolutely right.
Speaking of deep staters, it seems that Moscow has they're about to eject. They may expel 30 U.S. diplomats and freeze some U.S. assets in Russia. What's going on over there, buddy?
Well, if you remember back to, Obama, one of his last efforts before leaving, when they first started painting this entire narrative regarding the Russian hack, basically, the U.S. under Obama passed new sanctions against Russia. They shut down two Russian compounds here in the United States and expelled the diplomats back to Russia. And they did it for just some type of a, look how strong we are. We're doing this. Well, now Russia's fighting back a little bit and saying, listen, you know, we did not do that to you. However, we're going to start taking a look at your U.S. diplomats that are here, what they're working on, what their assets are. And guess what? If we don't reach some type of conclusion on this, we're going to be sending them packing and sending them home, V.
Yep, absolutely, man.
So good for them.
Absolutely, because I guarantee you, whoever is these U.S. assets at work in Moscow are deep staters. They're up to no good. These are nefarious individuals um, that are creating havoc. These are the agents of chaos, and what you have to do is shut them down. Absolutely, 100%.
Well, yeah, and I don't have the exact timing of it, but I believe that Vladimir Putin will be running for re-election coming up. And
Just like we predicted in the Rogue Report, have we not? I think it was James, Russian analyst, who put that down in pen and paper and wrote it down and predicting that Vladimir Putin will stay on in some sort of a strategic position while a newer face, younger blood, will be taking over as president and prime minister.
yeah, so in efforts, leading up to this, we know that Russia has already kicked out George Soros back NGOs out of the country, right?
Yep.
So now I think that this is specifically taking a look at these diplomats and saying, you know what, we want to make sure that there's no infiltration here in our election, which these diplomats would be working with any opposing voice in Russia. So this is a very strategic move of them to do at this time.
Yep, absolutely. CJ, it seems like the IRS and wide taxing agency will be falling all over themselves in their pathetic and poor attempts to control cryptos, man. CJ, I had to laugh at this, man. I had to laugh at this, especially when the IRS, these idiots that are concocting these new laws against cryptos. They're like, we were going to go ahead and we're going to find the source. We're gonna levy fines on the source of Bitcoin. I started to laugh. I'm like, there is no source of Bitcoin, you dumbass. Okay? Bitcoin's not a central bank. It's not some central bank issuing Bitcoin. But if you look at the reaction by the establishment, if you look at the reaction by governmental entities towards cryptocurrencies, paints a beautiful picture that these idiots do not understand it. They don't get it. And thus, they'll never, ever control it.
Right. Well, I think in part, and again, I don't like taxation at all. But V, it's ridiculous when you take a look at let's say for example, that someone is trying to take out their IRA out of a company, or I'm sorry, a pension fund out of a company, or their 401k. It's amazing probably how much tax revenue that the IRS collects with that. They almost guarantee that money is going to stay within the banking system. In other words, when you roll over your 401k, your pension, you put it into, if you put it into a financial institution like JP Morgan, everything, that you pretty much avoid a lot of the taxes. So I think what they're specifically looking at here is trying to figure out if any of these large purchases going into Bitcoin is any money that was moved from those types of transactions, avoiding any type. And again, they shouldn't have to be paying taxes, anyway on that money. That's their hard, working money. That's money that they've earned. But for the IRS to specifically try to and strategically attack Coinbase for this is just ridiculous, V.
Yep. And they're trying to make an example out of Coinbase, and these guys don't realize that those who are involved in cryptos are 10 to 20 steps ahead of them. You're never going to catch them. You're never going to prosecute them. Just roll over, guys. Roll over and admit it's over, but you guys don't see the end. You guys don't see the end. You guys think you can control everything. We are entering into a multipolar, decentralized world. Everything is being decentralized. Currency is decentralized. Banking is decentralized. The internet is being decentralized. You don't control nothing. Nothing. He who controls the internet wins. And what is the prevailing, what is the championing or the champion viewpoint on the internet, CJ? It is the libertarian conservative viewpoint. That is the viewpoint. It is a viewpoint of free markets and freedom and liberty. It is a viewpoint and philosophy of individualism. These are the pervading trends and views and substrates that are within the thoughts and analysis and in the very streams of data that's in the internet. This was being espoused the most more than anything else. Thus, cryptocurrencies are made for the internet age. The internet age didn't begin with email. It's beginning now with the power of social media, with the decentralization, with the masses taking back something that was originally created to enslave them. Now it's back in our hands and we are controlling it. I love it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I love it, man. Anyway, no policy shift in Ukraine, brother. Can we stop and learn something for once, man?
Yeah, I mean, how many years have we been dealing with, Ukraine and the U.S. NATO attempts to try to really change out that whole area to more U.S. influence? And so now we're learning, and I'm sure this is something Trump assigned to Rex Tillerson as part of his job. But it looks like Trump named McCain Institute director to the ambassador to NATO, Kirk Volkner, who has neocon ties, to the job to go in there and negotiate Ukraine and its path forward.
Very interesting indeed. Very, very interesting. Let's see what this guy does, bro. Let's see what this guy does. I mean, he began his career in the CIA. That's where he started. So this guy's a deep stater of deep staters. He's as dirty as he comes. And he's worked for the McCain Institute, which is it's a hub of neoconservative thought, well known for its lobbying of hawkish foreign policy. Has been reported of taking donations from the George Soros, the Rothschild family, the National Iranian American Council, and the Saudi Embassy. Last year, Senator McCain tried to distance himself from the institute, saying that he had nothing to do with it beyond the namesake, even though it was founded with an $8.7 million donation of unused funds from the senator's 2008 presidential run. You gotta love it, bro. So let's see what happens with that circle jerk.
Yeah, something to monitor. Yeah, definitely monitor in terms of what's going on there. And I just wish we could learn from just from the past in terms of all this war gaming, all these things that occurs. I mean, we have so much here on the home front to focus on, and now we learn about Operation Seabreeze. It's going on the Ukraine coast, where the U.S. is sending missile ships, Navy SEALs, massive war games off the Ukraine coast at this timeline. Could we just stop? Could we just have some sanity about these matters and, really put forth an effort to scale back these events, V? Just it really drives me nuts, V.
Yeah, it's stupid. It is stupid, but again, war games are always scheduled months and probably even year in advance. So I wouldn't put much weight into it, man. The war games are stupid. I mean, it's a joke. I could laugh at it. I mean, remember. All I gotta say is remember the Donald Duck. Remember the USS Donald Duck, or also known as the Donald Cook. They wanted to go, flex their muscles in the Black Sea, and all of a sudden got hit by a Russian energy weapon. Which I confirmed from third-party sources it did happen, and the ship became a floating barge. So the U.S. sending ships into the Black Sea, it's a shooting gallery. Who cares? I wouldn't sweat it, man. Moving towards a common sense approach towards drugs, CJ. What is the common sense approach towards drugs?
Ooh, yeah, so this is think about the massive, the millions of dollars that have been spent, on the war against drug, the mass incarceration that occurs, Specifically, like in my state, we are starting to pour millions of dollars into these agencies, these needle exchange programs, these drug clinics where they can go in and dope up and be okay, and they get, we just spend millions of dollars, and no one wants to get to the root cause, and in terms of a supply demand side economics regarding drugs.
Yeah.
And we need to get her on here soon, because she puts out some amazing articles for the anti-media. But Carrie Wedler,
Oh,
she
cool.
always
Yeah.
speaks in general regarding the war on drugs. It's one of her focuses that she always looks at. But we're learning, that the state of Oregon has passed laws basically to decriminalize for first time abusers of cocaine, meth, and heroin. And why this is important is that specifically, once these first offenses happen, these folks get put in incarceration. Their lives truly do not change in terms of their behaviors with these illegal drugs, but specifically taking a look at some efforts which could potentially help them to change. Perhaps maybe it's, taking a look at different types of drug rehab programs, specifically not getting them in jail, keeping them coming out of jail, mass incarceration. So this is a good bill that I think is going to make some difference for the people in Oregon. Hopefully other states will learn from this.
Yep. Absolutely. I agree wholeheartedly. With that being said, Siege, we are at the end of the broadcast. Thank you all for listening in. Siege, what's your closing comments, sir?
Yeah, so Terra Trading Dome today with Dex, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So come back for that. Again, check out roguemoney.net. Our contributors continue to push out great articles. So spend some time there, take a look at the articles there, and just pumped up for another great day, V.
That's it. With that being said, guys, again, check out our sponsors, myfreedomnow.us and mygoldusb.com. With that being said, we are over now. Take it away, buddy.